I used to live in this tiny old brick apartment building, the kind that seemed to have been forgotten by time. The wallpaper peeled, the stairwell light always flickered, and at night, the whole place settled with groans and creaks. Most of the tenants were quiet. I didn't even know their names, though I'd hear muffled conversations through the walls. It was lonely, but safe. Or so I thought. One night I woke to the sound of knocking. Not the kind of knock you'd expect from a neighbor asking for sugar. This was slow, heavy. Each thud echoing through my small apartment. Knock, knock, knock. I glanced at the clock. 3 a.m. At first, I told myself it was probably some drunk guy at the wrong door. But the knocking didn't stop. And the longer it went on, the stranger it felt. There were long pauses between knocks, as if the person on the other side was waiting for me to move. Finally, my heart racing, I crept to the door and looked through the peephole. No one. Just an empty hallway, dimly lit by a buzzing fluorescent bulb. I backed away, trying to convince myself I'd imagined it. That's when I heard it, softly. A whisper through the door, faint, unclear, like someone crying. My stomach dropped. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I caught my neighbor in the hallway. She was older, always kind to me. I asked casually, "Did you hear knocking last night?" Her face drained of color. She leaned closer, voice low. "They didn't tell you. The man who used to live in your unit, he died right there, at the door, collapsed trying to get help. People say he still knocks, always at 3 in the morning." That night I lay awake, staring at the door. At 3 a.m., like clockwork, it began again. Slow, patient, waiting for me to open. I never did. When I moved into my first house, I felt proud. A quiet street, small garden, friendly neighbors. It seemed perfect. But the house next door always gave me an uneasy feeling. The first time I saw him, the man who lived upstairs was standing at the window. Just standing, staring, rain, shine, morning, night. Always the same blank expression. At first I told myself it was nothing. Maybe he was lonely, or maybe he had some odd routine. I waved, nothing. Knocked on the door once. No answer. The next morning I asked my neighbor, Mrs. Langley. "Oh, that house?" she said, frowning. "It's been empty for months. The man who lived there passed away last winter." I laughed nervously, but that night, lying in bed, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The next morning, small things started happening. My trash was knocked over, curtains slightly pulled. I thought maybe it was the wind, but there was no wind. A few nights later, while brushing my teeth, I noticed shadows moving behind the curtains of that upstairs window, even though the room should have been empty. My stomach sank. Something wasn't right. Over the next week, the incidents escalated. At 2 a.m., I would wake to soft tapping on my window. My dog refused to go into the living room. Lights flickered. Objects in my house seemed to move slightly. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe an animal, maybe my imagination. But the feeling of eyes on me became unbearable. I decided to set up a camera outside. I left it running overnight. The footage shocked me. Every hour, a shadow appeared in the upstairs window, always standing, unblinking. And sometimes the figure seemed closer to the glass than physically possible, almost pressing against it. I called a friend and we went to investigate during the day. The house was empty, dust everywhere, furniture covered, no footprints, no signs of recent activity. But that night I heard a sound outside. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, pausing at my door. My heart raced. I didn't dare look out. Over the following weeks, the watching continued. Every mirror reflection seemed to reveal the figure. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but friends who came over said they felt uneasy too. Finally, I contacted the local historical society. They told me stories about the man who had lived there, an elderly recluse obsessed with watching the street who vanished one winter. Neighbors reported seeing him at the window even after he died. I moved months later, but I still drive past that street sometimes at night. And for a moment I feel it. That gaze, the figure at the dark window still watching, waiting. Sometimes I wonder, did I ever really leave his watchful eyes behind, or did he follow me silently from house to house? When I was a kid, the house next door always gave me chills. It belonged to an elderly couple, polite but strange. They never smiled much, and whenever I played in the yard with my friends, they would warn us, never go near the basement. Always the basement. Naturally, we laughed at it as kids, a creepy basement, sure. Nothing to be afraid of, right? Years later, that couple moved away and their house went up for sale, empty. My curiosity, which had been simmering for years, finally got the better of me. One summer afternoon, I decided to explore. I pushed open the front door. It creaked loudly, echoing through the silent house. Dust hung in the air like fog, furniture draped in white sheets, cobwebs in every corner. Upstairs was mostly empty, peeling wallpaper, broken chairs, old photographs covered in dust. But my eyes kept drifting to the basement door. It was padlocked from the outside. I jiggled it. The metal screeched. Hard hammering, I found a crowbar and finally pried it open. The moment the door swung, a wave of stench hit me, rotten, metallic, suffocating. My flashlight's beam shook as I shined it into the basement, and then I saw the walls. Jagged scratches, deep gouges carved violently. Something desperate had tried to escape. In the far corner lay a mattress, torn, stained dark. I stepped closer, every instinct screaming at me to turn back. Then I heard it, a faint shuffle, a breath, something alive moving in the shadows. I froze. My mind raced. Was it an animal? A person? I couldn't see anything clearly, just vague shapes moving. The air felt thick, heavy, almost like the basement itself was holding me down. I ran, stumbling up the stairs, heart pounding, nearly tripping. Sunlight outside felt surreal after that darkness. I slammed the door shut and didn't look back. Weeks later, I told the new buyers what I'd seen. They sealed the basement permanently. But even months later, I kept noticing strange things. Footsteps at night when I walked past the house. Shadows shifting behind closed windows. One night, I dared to peek through the basement window, and for a brief moment, I swear I saw something pressing its face against the glass. A shadowy shape crouched low, watching. Then it was gone. Even now, walking past that house, I can't shake it. That basement. Something lives there, waiting, patiently. And sometimes late at night, I think I hear a soft knocking from beneath the ground.